Hello everyone. Do you guys enjoy watching different end of the world scenarios? I'm sure that many of you will answer yes. Because if many people didn't enjoy these scenarios, apocalyptic movies wouldn't be as popular as they are. Today, we would like to present you with our own small apocalyptic movie. Welcome back to our channel. Now, what would possibly happen if the moon were to fall towards the Earth? We're about to find out. Let's get started. Is it possible for the moon to fall? The average distance from the Earth to the moon is currently 384,000 kilometers, but this wasn't always the case. Remember that the moon was formed in the Hadean Era, the earliest geological age just after the birth of the Earth. The solar system was more chaotic then, and there were a lot more planets there than there are now. One of these additional planets, Theia, collided with the Earth. This collision turned the Earth into a magma ocean and threw some of those particles out of the Earth's mantle into space. The moon was formed from that material. The distance between the moon and the Earth was much shorter at that time, at about 60,000 kilometers. It is not clear how long the moon has been in its current position. Currently, the moon is moving away from the Earth at a rate of about 3.8 centimeters per year, but it is not possible to determine what this rate was in the past in terms of linear functions. In any case, many people in the past used to think that sooner or later, the moon would leave the Earth's nest forever and begin to orbit the sun like the other planets. Researchers now, however, have a different opinion. In the far future, as the sun nears the end of its life, it will expand rapidly and come much closer to the Earth. The sun's gravity will destabilize the planetary satellite system of the Earth and moon, causing the moon to, well, fall to Earth. Basically, the material that originally made the moon will finally be returned to the Earth. But you don't need to get worked up over this. Long before this event happens, life will have disappeared from the Earth, and there will probably not even be an atmosphere left. Our planet will have become a burnt-out sphere from facing the sun too closely, so the events of a catastrophic event like this should not be that terrible. But what if, by the will of the universe, the moon were to start falling to Earth right now? What if, for example, a wandering planet accidentally enters the solar system and hits the moon, upsetting its orbit? In this case, there are many possible catastrophic results. Let's examine those results right now. Rain of Fire. Low-speed impact case. When people think of the moon crashing into the Earth, they usually imagine the moon falling like a deadly missile and shattering the Earth into pieces. However, the reality is not that simple. Planets are among the most stable celestial bodies. For this reason, it won't be that easy, if not impossible, to destroy the Earth. The result of what might happen will all depend on the speed of the impact and whether the impact is a mere scratch or a head-on collision. First, let's consider what would happen if the moon crashes into the Earth with a relatively low velocity. In this case, the moon, after leaving its orbit, will gradually increase its speed and begin to approach the Earth in a spiral. The Earth will also begin to attract the moon. We'll see a very bright and beautiful full moon, then a lot of unpleasant sights after. First, the tidal forces will increase. Vast coastal areas will be submerged in water or hit twice a day by tsunamis of great destructive force. Many people will be forced to seek refuge in the interior regions of the continent. But there won't be peace there either. Away from the coast, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and magnetic storms will strike. This is because the moon is not revolving around the Earth, using it as a center. If the two celestial bodies come together, they would revolve around a common gravitational center. That gravitational center would not be the Earth's gravitational center or its geometric center, but somewhere in the mantle, closer to the surface of the Earth. As a result, the interior of the Earth will be stirred up by the moon and will not be able to cool down properly. Thus, tectonic plate motion will not stop. The change in the position of the moon, especially if it occurs over a relatively short period of time on a geologic timescale, can cause massive disturbances in the Earth's interior. The mantle will begin to erupt onto the surface. Many volcanoes will be active and new ones will be born. Some of those volcanoes will be incredibly violent, and the Krakatoa eruption will be like a baby compared to them. Vast areas of land will be covered with lava. A long winter will begin as ash rises into the atmosphere and blocks out the sun. The pressure from the mantle trying to blow out onto the surface of the Earth will cause the crust to crack and shatter, resulting in devastating earthquakes. Countries in the Ring of Fire, which runs through Japan, Indonesia, New Zealand, and the western coast of North and South America, will be severely affected. These areas will be devastated, but it doesn't mean that there will be peace and quiet in the other countries. Behind this tectonic hell, magnetic storms will form, perhaps almost unnoticed. The growing lunar gravity will upset the outer areas of the Earth's core, which is what creates the Earth's magnetic field. As a result, the needles of compasses will move erratically, and birds and insects may stray off their course, lose their bearings, and die en masse. In any case, in these lands, the threat of earthquakes and volcanic eruptions will be much greater. As the moon finally approaches the Earth, it will begin to pull the atmosphere towards itself, disturbing the magnetosphere on the Earth. A raging storm will form, followed by a tectonic catastrophe. And all this is just the beginning. There's a concept called the Roche limit in astrophysics. When a satellite orbits a planet, it is subject to the tidal forces of the planet's gravity. The satellite can hold itself together from the tidal forces of the planet with its internal gravity. The Roche limit is the distance in which a satellite's tidal forces equals the gravitational self-attraction of another body. For the moon, this distance is 9,000 to 19,000 kilometers. If the moon approaches the Earth and exceeds the Roche limit, it will begin to crumble to pieces under the Earth's gravity. The moon will begin to shatter and eventually melt away. For the first time in billions of years, earthquakes and volcanic eruptions will tear the moon apart. The debris from the moon will rain down on the Earth in a rain of fire. The size of this debris will vary, ranging from the size of a small meteorite to a small asteroid, and fall across several hundred kilometers. As these meteorites fall like bombs, the sea will be disturbed, and many new craters will form on the land. However, not all of this lunar debris will fall on Earth. Some will continue to orbit the Earth, forming a ring of rocks around it. This debris will possibly form new satellites in the future. Earth will continue to experience intense heat for a long period of time, but nothing serious should result from it. Still, the natural disasters and long winters from volcanic eruptions will cause mass extinctions. Life as we know it, however, should not completely disappear. A high-speed collision case. If the moon collides with the Earth at a high speed, the situation will be even worse and much more catastrophic. First, the results of the impact should cause massive destruction that will be much worse than a low-impact case. While the moon appears to get larger in the sky as it gets closer, The Earth will be devastated by the storms, tsunamis, eruptions, and earthquakes that we have described previously. In this case, however, the Moon will not be completely destroyed as it gets closer to the Earth. Instead, the Earth's gravity will break it into larger pieces. These pieces will rain down on the Earth in a rain of all-consuming fire. Earth's atmosphere will begin to flow toward the Moon. A significant portion, if not all of it. The outcome of this collision will depend on the angle at which the Earth and Moon collide. If the two scratch each other, the Moon will leave a large scar on the surface of the Earth. This will create a crack in the crust where molten magma will spew out from the Earth's interior. The entirety of the Earth's surface will sink beneath the magma and will turn into a sea of simmering fire. The Moon will then be thrown out by the Earth's gravity and fly away, leaving the Earth lifeless and without parts of its atmosphere. By the time the Moon completes its flight course towards the Earth, our planet will break apart in a roaring sea of magma. Because by this point, the Moon's gravity will have turned the surface of the Earth into an ocean of magma. The Moon and Earth will fuse, and their particles will mix. The ocean of magma will eventually cool and solidify into a new crust. The Earth will increase in size and mass, and will retain parts of its atmosphere. Of course, however, there will be no life left on the planet at this point. Finally, when the Moon makes a high-speed head-on impact with the Earth, space will be shaken by a tremendous explosion. The shockwave will shatter the core of both the Earth and the Moon. This explosion will scatter fragments into space. They will then orbit the Sun as a dense asteroid belt. In the end, however, there will not be anything that can possibly compare to the Earth or the Moon. That wraps up this apocalyptic video. Thank you all for watching until the end. Close your eyes for a second and open them again to come back to reality. Then, assure yourself that this catastrophe is not likely to happen. We'll leave you now to look for another video idea that you will all enjoy, just like this one. Please don't forget to come back for another video. See you all soon. Goodbye.